Welcome to Seattle College's international programs and our show Conversations With, where we talk to people that help you understand how you too can be an international student in the United States and why Seattle Colleges should be your first choice. We'll talk to students and staff and agents and government folks, all kinds of people about what you can expect when you're getting ready to apply or travel here, what you'll experience while you're with us, and how it can all lead to an amazing life. Don't forget to check out the Seattle College's International Programs website at intl.seattlecolleges.edu, where you can find a treasure trove of information about the school, the programs here, and best of all, fill out and submit your application. Again, that's intl.seattlecolleges.edu. Hey everybody, it's Evan Franulovich. Welcome to Conversations With. We're here at Seattle Central in the great city of Seattle, Washington. And today, my first guest from the Republic of Korea.
Hi everyone, my name is Wonjong. I also go by Joe.
Joe. Yeah. All right, Joe, well tell us, before we started recording, we had so many interesting things to talk about. So I'd asked him if he'd say something in Korean at the end, and we kind of had a conversation about that. Why, what happened in your childhood? I think it's such an interesting story. You didn't actually stay in Korea, you took off. Well, tell everybody about that.
Yeah, so I was born in South Korea, but my parents immigrated to the island of Saipan. It's a U.S. territory. And for people that don't know, it's an island right next to Guam.
Yeah.
Everyone's heard of Guam.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, they immigrated when I was 4, and I basically just grew up there my entire life.
So do you speak Japanese as well?
Well, I learned for like 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
I forgot every single thing. Yeah.
Because Saipan used to be part of Japan.
Yeah.
And then, after the war.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a lot of like Japanese culture still there.
Right.
It's like within the community, so.
It's not a big island, right? It's pretty small.
No, it's really small. Like if you look on the map or like the globe, it's like you can't even see it. It's
a little bit dot.
It should be a little dot, but there's nothing there.
But good swimming, diving.
Yeah, I mean it's just a little version of Hawaii, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. So how hard is it to fly away from the island? Is there like flights only once a week, or?
No, there's flights consistently.
Oh, okay.
Going all around the place: Guam, Japan, Korea.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Are there a lot of Koreans on Saipan, or just you were more of an anomaly?
I'd say when I was younger, weren't that many. But growing up, it's like more people, more Koreans started to live there. So yeah, there's a big diversity.
Yeah, and the high school is based on the American system, obviously.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you guys have sports like football team? And I can't imagine.
We had sports, but since it was an island, we didn't really have football teams. We did have more so like soccer, golf, and then because it was an island, there was a lot of water. Outrigger, the canoeing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was on that team.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, we won both championships, both my years.
Who do you compete against?
Well, there's like 3, so including my public school, there were 2 other public schools, and then there are a couple of other like private schools.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so.
Well, there must be, what's the population on Saipan?
Yeah, I can't give the exact number, but I think it's roughly around like 50,000 to maybe.
Okay, so there's
60,
enough for a few schools.
Yeah,
Right.
you know.
All right, and then you didn't, so you graduate from high school in Saipan, and then you don't immediately come to the United States.
I don't. As soon as I graduated, well, I didn't, because I'm a Korean citizen, I had to serve, but I didn't want to. I wanted to come here.
Sure.
But my mom, she was like, no, you are going to finish your military service first, and then you're going. And so she basically just, shipped me away.
So which branch were you in?
I was in the just regular army.
You were in the army.
Yeah.
All right. And they have you just serving right up on the DMZ, or do they have you down somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on where you get stationed, but I went with my cousin, so we were stationed at the exact same place, and we were just like right by the border, so 5-minute drive from the DMZ.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So you were in the Seoul area? Were you in?
More north of Seoul.
Oh, more north.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how far it is actually from Seoul to the border.
Yeah, it's surprisingly pretty far.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, because on the map it doesn't look that
It
far.
doesn't look that far.
Right, it looks
yeah.
really close. I was in Seoul a few years ago, which was great, but I didn't, and I really wanted to go up to the DMZ, but I just ran out of time. So
yeah, no, it's great. I mean, they have a lot of tours around that area too, so it's once in your lifetime.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting relic. So do you get a lot of time off when you're in the military? Do you get a chance to go into town and have leave?
Not really.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know about now, but when I served, it was in 2017 to 2019, and when you first get in, they give you a certain amount of vacation days. So I had 21, I think, vacation days.
That's not too bad.
Throughout your whole career.
Oh, the whole thing.
Whole career.
Oh, that's
yeah. But then there's opportunities for you to get more days, I guess. You know, if you excel in training or if you do these other stuff, they'll kind of give you some more.
Right.
Yeah, and then every month you can kind of leave for the day, just like around the city that you're near the base, but you have to come back in.
Sure.
And,
So you can go out with a couple of your buddies and get some barbecue and then come back.
Yeah, usually, it'll involve a lot of drinking.
Probably a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did your parents, did you get to fly back to Saipan during your break?
Yeah, so I was like a special case. Usually they don't allow other people, but since my parents were still there in Saipan when I was in the military, they gave me extra vacation days to fly
great.
over.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah, so usually when I use let's say 5 or 6 vacation days, they give me 5 more extra just because of the flight going back. So
Did you have to go through Tokyo to get there?
no, from Korea it was just a straight flight.
Oh, it's a straight flight
but I didn't tell anyone. I always told everyone that I had a layover. Extra days.
Takes time.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's really cool. And then then your plan all along had been you wanted to come to the States or just overseas somewhere?
So originally, growing up, my plan was to join the U.S. Marines.
Oh.
Yeah, but sadly, I wasn't able to.
Just because of your citizenship?
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but pretty much almost all the U.S. high schools, the recruiters who come and do all the pull-up challenges and stuff like that, right? And I aced everything. I did the most pull-ups in my school, and then also the military entrance exam, the ASVAB.
Yeah,
I passed that with flying colors, and so they were like, "We're taking you," but then right at the end, right before I graduated high school, they were like, "Yeah, because of your citizenship, we can't take you, sorry."
But I thought they had some sort of a pathway to U.S. citizenship by serving in the U.S. military.
So they had this program. It was called the MAVNI program. It ended the year that I graduated.
Oh,
yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, now that so then you couldn't join the Marines, but so you were thinking about coming to the States?
No.
You weren't.
I wasn't. School, college, and stuff wasn't
on your radar.
On my radar at all. But after I finished the military, my brother was attending Seattle U at the time.
Oh, okay.
And I had nothing to do. I was just gonna go back home, just be with my parents. Figure out something. But then my brother was like, "Why not just come to Seattle? See if you like it or not." And he was the one who introduced me to Seattle Central. It's like, there's a great school, nearby. Check it out. If you like it, attend it. If not, you can go back. And so that's what kind of kickstarted my journey here.
So you took a trip to Seattle to see your brother just as a tourist, right? Checked it out and thought, oh yeah, this looks good.
Yeah, I really liked the environment, and then I had the chance to talk to a few professors. I just randomly walked up and I was like, "Hey, are you a professor?" And they were like, "Yeah," and I was
they were friendly.
Yeah, they were really friendly, and we had a great conversations. And I was like, you know what, I might actually give this a shot.
Right, that's cool. But I'm curious about the visa process then, because normally you'd be in country to do your interview at the embassy. So you'd come as a tourist. You would have had to have left.
Yeah.
So did you go back to Korea or did you go to Saipan?
So I went back to Saipan first, visit my parents. And then I told them like, hey, I want to go to school. And then they're like, great, we'll help you. And I was like, okay. And then so went back to Korea, applied.
Oh, you did go back to Korea.
Yeah, just for the visa interviews and stuff.
Yeah. All right, good to know. And how'd that go? How was the visa interview?
It was great. I mean, it only took me 5 minutes and they stamped my passport.
That was it?
Yeah.
It's so funny the different stories I hear.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to get an interview appointment?
A week.
It was only a week.
It was only a week.
Really fast.
Yeah, and then I pretty much went there like an hour before. There were still people waiting in line, but I was like pretty much one of the first few people that went in. And then I mean,
what kind of questions did they ask you?
You know, surprisingly not much. I've heard all these like horror visa interview stories,
right?
And so I was a bit nervous. But then as soon as I went up, I was, just typical conversation. Good morning, how you doing? And they're like, they just gave me that look like, why is your English so good? And I was like, well, and then I explained my situation, and they were like, okay, stamp, go. And I was like, lucky.
Thanks, dude. That's really amazing.
That easy?
Yeah, that is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you're here on an F1 visa, and what are you studying?
I am currently in the nursing program at Seattle Central.
I thought maybe you were in the nursing program. So this is really great because I get a lot of requests for information about nursing from all over the world. My territories are Latin America, Africa, and the Middle East, so a lot of people down there interested. Is your so I know that getting into the program is a little tricky. So tell people, like, did you know you wanted to do nursing when you arrived?
Yeah, pretty much. My cousin, he's a RN, registered nurse,
right?
And so I kind of look up to him a lot, and I saw like how well he's doing with his life, and I was like, well. So I finished all of that, and then I applied for the nursing program. Yeah, but the main prerequisites for a nursing program were just pretty much, all the biology classes that are
physiology,
chemistry, math, English 101. You're gonna have to take English 102 as well, and then a certified nursing assistant class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did your prerequisites, you got your associate's degree, and then did you just take a vacation quarter while you waited to hear whether you got accepted?
Yeah, so usually you apply, there's 2 times to apply at Seattle Central. Other schools might be a little bit different, but so I applied during like March or April, and I graduated winter of this year. No, last year. Winter last year.
Winter last year.
Winter part of last year was my last quarter, and that's when I graduated with my Associates of Arts.
Okay.
And then I applied for the nursing program like March.
Okay. So
and
right
then
after your
and then you hear back around like July or August.
It takes a while.
It takes so long.
So were you worried because to maintain your F1 status, you have to be full time, right?
So what I did was I switched my program into IP short-term certificate just so that I can be a full-time student.
Very smart.
While I wait, So I took IP short-term for spring quarter, and then I took a vacation quarter during summer. So I
start in the fall.
Exactly.
Wow, if you're listening, that's a really smart way to do it. So if you're interested in nursing, there's a couple of different ways you can make it happen. But it's a little tricky because they only start the program in the fall and the winter, right? And your application can't be made until after you graduate. So, all right, interesting. And now that you're in, how long is the program? It's 2 years, right?
It's 2 years. No summer classes. Yeah, which is great.
So you're on a vacation quarter now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have no. If you're an international student, you have no choice but to put in a vacation quarter.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
But it's great,
But normally, to get a vacation quarter, you have to do
3 classes.
three quarters.
3 quarters. 3 quarters.
Yeah,
My
3
bad.
quarters
Yeah.
of
Which is perfect. The nursing program, it gives you fall, winter, spring, and then vacation quarter.
Yeah, sounds. And then after you're done with your nursing program, you'll take the NCLEX
Yes.
to get your RN.
Mm-hmm.
So is your plan to stay in the state of Washington to be a nurse?
At the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to kick you out of the country? Or?
Hopefully not.
I mean, if they did, let's just say they did, because one of my questions to students I talk to is like, well, what do you want to do with nursing? Are you planning on going back to your country? If they did kick you out, could you take the education you got here and become a nurse in Korea?
See, that I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
I've never really looked into it because I just have no plans of going back and doing nursing there.
Right.
But I think it's a different test. Yeah, I know Canada and the U.S. It's kind of intertwined.
Right.
But different countries, I feel like they have a little bit of a different expectation. So you're gonna probably have to.
You don't seem too worried about it. You think you just apply for a work permit after you graduate, or?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways. I mean, I was speaking with my advisors too before. One is kind of OPT.
Sure, of course.
Right. Most basic.
And you can do up to 3 years as a nurse, right?
I
Is
think
it science
so.
and technology?
Oh, well, nursing isn't considered in the science.
It's not
so
considered.
it's a year.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's a year.
So nursing is like totally separate, which
All right.
doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
OPT, and then there's.
Hold on. All right. So resuming back where we were talking about the nursing program. So hopefully you'll be able to stay and work here. So you talked about a year of OPT, and then what?
So there's getting sponsored by a hospital.
Oh yeah.
I don't know at least from what I've heard through my clinical instructors, Seattle they're a little hard on sponsors. They don't really do it as often, but if you get lucky and if you do find a great hospital, you can get sponsored, work, and then apply for a green card. And the other is another working visa. One of the advisors mentioned it. I can't remember what it's exactly called, but it was something EB3, something like that. I know there's the other working visa is like the H1 or something of that sort. But yeah, so those two could be an alternative as well.
All right. Yeah. I worked at a hospital out in Eastern Oregon for a while, and they were always short-staffed. I mean, they were always. So you may find rural hospitals are in need more than the urban hospitals.
Yeah, definitely. And also the like the major hospitals here within the city too, they're always understaffed.
Are they?
They are. It's the nursing like shortage is so bad. Like I wish, and there's a lot of students that apply for nursing. There's a lot of nursing students.
Right.
But the amount of nursing students that actually make it through are significantly less than the students that apply.
Right.
Because the program is just so hard and they don't really give second chances. So once you're in the program, you have to dedicate your whole life of 2 years just studying, And
Are you finding it hard?
yeah, it's been rough. It's been very rough. Yeah, it's pretty much you just study, eat, sleep, work, study.
Sounds like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a dump of information. Is that the problem?
That is, everything's just new, and like you have so many classes. So I took like 5 or 6 classes, like the last couple of
Because you had to?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
That
like
is a full load.
They don't make you choose classes here. They choose it for you every quarter. It's specific classes,
Right.
and you just pay for them and you just start. But yeah, it's a lot of time, And they tell you the first week of classes, your first quarter, that all the professors will be like, for the next 2 years, call your friends, family, partner, anyone. Tell them 2 years. You're not gonna hang out with them. You're gonna be busy. But after 2 years, you're gonna be free.
Wow.
So they give you that heads up, and it's really true. I did not believe it at first, but
Well, let's talk about getting into the program, because even if you get a 4 point as as you in your first 2 years, that's no guarantee you'll get into the program, right? It's a lottery.
Yes. So grades matter, definitely.
Oh, they do?
It does. All the other stuff matter as well, but you need to have a little bit of luck on your side.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you apply to other nursing schools just in case you didn't get in here?
You know, this is gonna sound crazy, but I have only applied to 2 places.
Oh, okay.
Bellevue and here.
All right.
And it was, for me, it was just do or die.
Wow.
You know.
Did you get accepted at Bellevue as well?
No.
Oh. So.
Well, not really. I would say no. One of the requirements, I thought I met the requirements, but then after I submitted everything midway, they're like, yeah, it doesn't meet the requirements. So I was like, well, Seattle Central's the only one I got left.
Right.
And, you know, I ended up being a bit lucky. So,
right. Well, good deal. Now, your classes aren't actually here at this central building, right?
No, it's not.
Where do you go for classes?
So all the nursing students, their I-20s are considered central. But we all get split up into North, Central, and South. North students, they take classes at the physical campus in North.
Oh, they do?
Mm-hmm. And South is the same. They take their classes at South, the campus.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Central is the only one that takes it at the Pac Med building. It's like on top of North Beacon Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far is that for walking?
So if you get off the station at International District, it's
a ways then.
Yeah, it's like 15, 20-minute walk from there. Yeah.
Oh, so go down International. Mm-hmm. Interesting, because did you listen to the interview with Monet? She's from Japan. She's from Okinawa. No, she's not from Okinawa. No, maybe she is from Okinawa.
I saw the title.
No, Ayuna's from Okinawa.
Nursing student.
Right. And she is a South student. Mm-hmm. So you're saying she would do her classes there?
Yeah, they have their own like classrooms and labs there. Right. Central is the only campus that doesn't have it physically on the Broadway campus.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Cool. And so there you have it. Nursing. Is there a particular type of nursing you want to do, or?
Yeah. I'm really great with kids. I love kids. Oh, yeah. I feel like I work better along with kids than adults. So pediatrics. Yeah. Definitely either.
It's like baby delivery too, right?
So I don't want to go into that one, but more so like NICU, neonatal ICU, or PICU, sure. Pediatrics ICU. So something around ER ICU, but more so with pediatrics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Are either of your parents medical people?
No, not even close.
What does your dad do? What does your mom do?
My dad is an electrician.
Okay.
And my mom is a math tutor. Oh. So nothing really related to the medical
field. But they must be really cool. They must be happy that you're doing.
Yeah, no, it's they were really surprised that I even chose nursing, because I had no interest in anything like related to medical or science. Mm-hmm. It was just always more like sports and military, and then I just told them I want to do nursing, and they're just like, their jaws dropped, and they're like, "What?"
That's great. Have they come to visit? Have they been to Seattle?
They have. They haven't. My mom recently visited me like 2 years ago. I don't know if that's considered recent, but my dad, no. But they have been to Seattle multiple times, because my brother was living here. So
sure, of course, that makes sense. And do you share an apartment with your brother?
No, my brother's currently not here. He's coming back though. So he graduated at Seattle U. Got a job in San Francisco. Oh, okay. And then after a year later, he quit his job, went back home, applied for law school, and is coming back for law school next month.
Where is he going to go to law school?
UW.
Oh, he's going to UW. Yeah. Nice. Good law school.
So.
Wow, that's really interesting. He went back to Saipan. Yeah. So wild. Okay, and then where you guys get a place? What are you doing for housing right now?
So I just got a place. I'm moving out next week. Nice. I got a studio in Capitol Hill. My brother, he's coming back here with his girlfriend, and pretty much living across the street. Yeah, he's living in a different building.
So you're moving into your apartment. Where have you been living?
I've been currently living right across U Village.
Oh, okay.
So right by the UW campus.
Yeah, That's a great part of town.
It is, but it's so far to get here.
It's just a subway stop.
Yeah, but from my apartment to the closest subway stop is 20-minute walk.
Oh,
Yeah, so I walk
gotcha.
20 minutes,
Get on the
get on
subway.
the subway, and then come to work or go to school.
Too bad. That's not too bad.
So.
I live in Edmond, so my
Oh,
commute
my
is
God.
quite a ways.
Yeah.
I usually either take the bus or ride my bike to Northgate and then catch it. It takes me about 45 minutes to an hour.
That is really far.
Yeah. But it's great because if I'm on the subway, especially in the winter when it's dark and cold, I get to do riding on there and catch up on. I can do whatever I want on my computer or phone. So. Wow. Okay. Well, so you don't get a lot of extra time off. You're on a vacation quarter now. How are you? I know you're working, but are you going to do anything fun? Are you going anywhere?
So as soon as vacation started for me, I went to visit my best friends in Texas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then after that, I've just been, working, just, trying to go on a lot of hikes outdoors as much as I can.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you went to Texas, what'd you think? What did you think of Texas?
It was so hot. I went. So this is the crazy funny part is my best friends they called me and they're like, you should come to Texas at this certain date, and I was like, oh, okay, that's too specific, but okay. And so I booked a ticket for a week. I went. The first day I got there, they're like, yeah, we're moving out today. We're moving out to a new place. You're helping us.
Yeah, thanks.
And I was like, really?
Jerks.
And it was the week of like the heat wave.
Oh.
So as soon as I stepped out, I thought I was going to die.
Which city were you in?
Houston.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, I am never going there again.
So not only is it hot, but then you also have the humidity on top of it.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Because I'm thinking Saipan must be a pretty warm place to live as well. But you get the winds and it keeps it cool.
It's hot, but it wasn't like dry heat or like as hot as Houston.
Yeah.
If you just step under the shade, like you'll cool down pretty quickly back home. So it was manageable. But Texas, oh my God, it was not.
Texas is pretty.
Yeah.
I lived there for a while. It's pretty hot. Yeah. And what'd you think about the city, the people?
Everything else was great. It was just the weather.
Yeah. The weather is tough.
Yeah, the weather was really tough.
Right. What do you think of the weather in Seattle, though? I mean, because this is very different than Saipan, for sure.
It is. It was really hard to get used to, especially even living in Korea during the military for 2 years. Like, it's completely
So
different.
cold.
Yeah, it's really cold in Korea, but it didn't rain as much, I would say, here. And the sun wouldn't usually set as early as here.
Right,
You know?
right.
So my first few years living here, I had a hard time during winter. It was because you know how it is, rainy. It's just always dark, barely any sunlight, and I'm just like, phew.
Well, the sun does, for our listeners, the sun does come out.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stay up for as long as, say, if you were in Mexico or California, for sure.
For sure.
We're a little bit further north. But I was going to ask you about, people always are asking me about scholarships and money because they're always short and they want to work on campus. You work for the international programs department.
I do.
So how did you get that job? How did you hear about it? And
Yeah. So there's this weekly newsletter that used to go out.
it's still going out. Yeah.
yeah.
Just started again.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll really kickstart and every week because there's a lot of information there, and I used to read that like every week when it came out.
Oh, good.
And I saw that the international programs was hiring at the time.
Awesome.
So I decided to apply, and
Ta-da!
here I am.
Yeah. How many hours do you work? Do you work full?
So for summer, during vacation quarter, international students can work full time, and there's a lot of confusion on that. So
Sure there is. Why don't you explain the rule?
yeah, so while you're not on vacation, it's only 20 hours a week.
Okay.
20 hours a week, so part time.
Sure.
But when you're on vacation quarter, you're allowed to work full time, which is like 40 hours a week.
Okay.
Sometimes even more if they allow it. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. Yeah.
And you work the front desk, so
Yes.
you're giving information all day long.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the number one question you get from students is what?
I would say the two most questions that I've heard would be, I'm going on vacation. What do I do? Number 2 is classes. Class registration, just anything that has to do with classes.
Right.
Yeah. Is this the right class for my major?
But you don't tell them, right?
Yeah. I can't. The only thing that I would kind of explain would be nursing, just because I kind of know the process of it. But all the other majors, I'm just, I try my best to help to the best of my knowledge, but then usually I would just recommend speaking with an advisor.
Yeah, the advisors are really their best source of info for that stuff. Cool. So people want to know how to go on vacation. You took a vacation to Texas. Can you explain the process? So, because we have current students that listen to this program as well. So what is the process?
Yeah. So first of all, the minimal requirement is you need to take 3 quarters consecutively before you could even apply. The only exception is if it's your first summer in the U.S. First quarter, first summer in the U.S.
Wait a minute. So let's say it's my first quarter. I thought I could, like if I just wanted to go up to Vancouver for the weekend.
Those you can, because technically you don't really need a vacation quarter for that.
Right. I just want to go travel.
And then you'll be back. As long as all your forms are up to date.
Okay.
Right?
So local travel, or like if I just take a flight down to Disneyland.
That is fine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just more so international travel, right? Where you're going back home, let's say to Japan, Korea, wherever you're from.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if it's your first summer, you're allowed to take a vacation quarter, even if you haven't completed 3 quarters in a row. But yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but it's great information, especially if it's your first year.
Right.
Yeah, 3 quarters in a row. You have to say that you have to fill out a form on SCD Global. It's a platform that students will have access to once they're accepted. Fill out form there, and then they just have to submit. Whether they purchase insurance or not is up to them, but they either request to purchase one or waive an insurance, and then they just have to submit their I-20 for a travel signature from their advisor.
Gotcha.
If they don't have one yet.
And that's pretty easy to do. Right. Wow, very cool. Oh, do you hear that? That means it's trivia time. Nice. And I have a feeling this is going to be easy for you because you give out information all day. But I'll try to ask you some challenging questions. So you get 5. If you get them all right, you're on the Wall of Fame. Okay. And if not, then, no big deal. We won't make fun of you around the office too much. All right. So very first question. So when you want to activate your CTC Link account, what number do you need to do that?
Being put on the spot is hard. Wow.
So I want to activate my CTC Link account. I need a number in order to do that. What is that number?
Would that not be your template ID?
That's it. Yeah. Nice job.
Because you receive it when you get accepted.
Genius. Yeah. Very nice. Okay, great. So in order to do the orientation class, what platform do they need to get on to do the orientation class?
Orientation class?
Yeah, to complete the orientation class, what platform should they log on to?
Canvas?
Yes! Yeah. Dude, I wouldn't have answered that. That's really amazing. Very good. All right, so if they have, if they've been accepted, their English scores are really high, they are allowed to do what in order to get their classes lined up? What can they do to start getting their classes lined up?
English scores are. Could you say that question? Repeat that question.
Sure. Yeah. So their English scores are really high, so they're going to be able to take their college classes right away. Before they even come to the United States, there's something they can do in order to start signing up for their classes.
The intent to enroll form.
They can do an intent to enroll form, and then they do like a pre-registration.
Yeah.
Right. And if they need help with that, who should they talk to?
If they can come into the international programs office, we would be more than happy to help the front desk.
But if they're still hanging out on the beach in Saipan?
Yeah, they can they can send emails, to anyone in the department, and kind of get forwarded to us.
And what is the email address?
intlcentral@seattlecolleges.edu.
Right on. Now, if you're going to go to north or south, it's the same email address. You just substitute north or south for central. So, great, man. You're knocking them out of the park. Great. So after they register for classes and they get their schedule, what can they do in order to make sure that it's all paid for?
So you could go into CTC link and check your financial dues, see if it's been paid, or cashier's office, and you can ask.
Bam. Nice job. Last question. What was the last movie you saw?
Last movie I saw. I've seen this movie a couple times already, but the last one I saw was Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my roommates were watching it for the first time,
Sure.
so I was just watching that with them as well.
That's cool. And what'd you think?
I love Top Gun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you see the original?
I did.
Which one did you like better?
I love the original better.
Yeah, I see. I do too.
Maverick was great.
It was
but
great. Yeah.
You can't beat a classic.
That's so true. Yeah, the aircraft are a little updated in the second one. But yeah, the first one's really great.
Really great movies, though.
Cool. Did you when you were in the military? Did you guys watch a lot of those kinds of movies? Like when I was in the military, you know, everybody was. Well, they were usually watching things like Saving Private Ryan or you know, whatever. They were into that stuff.
I'd say we watched a couple, but since it was Korea, and I'm not sure, but if you know, Korean drama is popular.
Oh,
very
it's
popular.
true. Yeah.
And so, if we had time to kill, you know, that's what we would be watching.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Fair enough. So yeah, Top Gun Maverick. That's cool. Well, usually before we end this program, I give you an opportunity to give some advice to people that are from the region that you know, they might be thinking about coming to Seattle colleges, or just coming to the United States in general. What kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, you know, that's a really great question. I would say just Seattle has been one of the best cities that I've visited so far. Seattle Central, too, compared to a lot of schools, is really great. There's a lot of great professors, great staff, faculty members that'll help your academic progress up.
Cool.
Yeah, Seattle is the best. Just come to Seattle.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be studying anyway, so the rain doesn't matter too much. All right, great. Well, good advice. That's really good advice. I also, you know, new thing for season 2, I give an opportunity to say something in your own language. So something you want to say to your friends back in Korea, but if they're thinking about coming to school.
Yeah. So say it in Korean, right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. 1 second.
It's
gotta
all right.
kind of clear it up.
His English is so good, you never know he even speaks Korean.
So this is for anyone in Korea that wants to attend.
Yeah, that they're
right?
thinking about coming to school in maybe Seattle colleges, or just the United States, whatever.
네, 안녕하세요. 서원종이고요. 혹시라도 미래에 미국이나 시애틀에 학교 다니고 싶으면 시애틀 센트럴 컬리지 되게 괜찮고 좋은 학교라서 편입하기도 좋고 여기 한번 관심 주고 다녔으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Nice. 감사합니다. Yeah, that's really good. And one of the things I was going to ask you, because so many people use agents in Korea, did you use an agent or did you play on your own?
I did it on my own.
Okay.
I think it was just more so because I have more experience with English, I guess. You know, it was just pretty easy for me to go through alone.
Sure, for sure. Last question before we go, because I am a Taekwondo instructor. I did it for a lot of years. I'm not training right now, but I do. Like, I'm usually attending a lot of tournaments, so I can help run the tournaments.
Oh, nice.
Did you do Taekwondo when you were in Korea?
I did.
Yeah. Cool.
May I ask what belt?
Well, I'm a 3rd degree black belt, but I've been eligible to test for my 4th degree for ever, and I just haven't done it because it's expensive, and it's like there's no real benefit to me testing again, and it's a lot of work, and it's like
yeah. I really respect that, though.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just a 1st degree. I had an opportunity.
Just a 1st degree.
Well,
That's
know,
awesome.
I had an opportunity in the military to get my second degree.
Right.
But, I thought about it. And I was like, do I really want to? And so just stuck
Only
at
one
first.
more form.
I know, but still stuck at
And
first.
actually, the second degree form is pretty cool. I actually prefer it to choreo.
It is.
It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So, you can always do it later.
Well, we shall see.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel about it, too. I mean, I could go test whenever I want.
Mm-hmm.
But, I haven't been training, so I'd have to really, give it a good lead up to go train hard again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds like a lot of work.
It definitely is.
That's cool. That's great. Do you do any other martial arts besides Taekwondo?
Yeah. So I used to train mixed martial arts when I was younger.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I've done boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu.
Nice.
Kickboxing.
Wow.
And Taekwondo.
And Taekwondo?
Out of everything, I would say Jiu-Jitsu has been my favorite.
I love Jiu-Jitsu.
I am planning to pick it back up here.
Yeah,
There's a lot of great schools here, academies, so
Right.
once time frees up.
Yeah, for sure. There's a jiu-jitsu place just around the corner from where I live that I'm hoping to get in there soon for just a couple times a week would be really great.
Yeah.
I always talk to people about martial arts and they go, which one should I do? And I go, it doesn't really matter which one you do. Just make sure you like your instructor. Because really you should take, to be a good mixed martial artist, you need a ground game. You need
stand-up game.
You need a stand-up game, close in, a little bit of... Taekwondo is great if I'm standing a little ways away. But if I'm in close, that boxing is such powerful stuff. And it's hard to beat jiu-jitsu once you go to the ground.
I know.
It's really good.
That's my goal. Get a black belt with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I heard like 10 years. 10 years, a little under 10 years, but...
Yeah. And I believe it.
Yeah.
Whenever I go train in jiu-jitsu, which I do quite a bit, I feel like a moron because it's just these guys are so good.
I know.
I got to get in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Good to talk to you, Joe.
Nice to talk to you.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. I know you got to go to work. Sorry to keep you. Oh, you're almost late.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Conversations With is painstakingly crafted for you by the Seattle College's International Programs Department and supported by the lovely folks here on our campus. This show is produced and edited by me, Evan Franulovich. We welcome your emails and questions about coming to Seattle Colleges. Please reach out to us via our website or just give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts as this helps others discover the show. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube at Seattle Colleges INTL. That's Seattle Colleges INTL. And be sure to check out all of the shows here on Conversations With. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.